Yeah.
Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. Today we are beginning something that we have never done before, but something we are very excited to do, and that is schedule previews, a brand new series where we will be taking a look at 25 teams and taking a look at their schedule and just previewing the upcoming season for them. Now, of course, the 25 teams have been determined by our way too early top 25. That video was released a few months ago, and so we are taking our rankings from that and taking a look at each of those teams' schedules for the next few weeks. So today we are beginning with the team that we had ranked 25th in our way too early top 25. That is the Tennessee Volunteers, who have some lofty expectations going into 2020. And you have to really give a lot of credit to Jeremy Pruitt and the job that he did in 2019. Because Tennessee was an absolute shipwreck, garbage fire, just almost midway through last season. They started 1-4, including home losses to start the season to Georgia State and BYU, losing that BYU game in devastating fashion. So a 1-4 start, but closed the season on a 6-game winning streak, including a 23-22 victory over Indiana in the Gator Bowl. 1-4 to 8-5. The only loss during that stretch was to Alabama, and really Tennessee held their own down in Tuscaloosa. Coming into 2020, they returned a lot of starters, 16, including their quarterback and Jarrett Garantano, their top 3 running backs, and very experienced offensive line and defensive line. So they're going to be tough to beat in the trenches. So this is arguably Jeremy Pruitt's best team that he has had entering year 3 at Tennessee. And as we all know, we've said it over and over and over again, for most new head coaches, it usually takes about 3 or 4 years to kind of get his system in place, to recruit the guys that he needs. And he's doing just that down in Knoxville. Very high expectations for Tennessee, arguably the best team that he has had. And keep in mind, he's doing a fantastic job at recruiting. So if he has a solid year in 2020, the sky's the limit for Tennessee going forward. They are getting big-time recruit after big-time recruit, and the future is looking very, very bright for the Volunteers. And they need that for a team that hasn't had a 10-win season since 2007 under Phil Fulmer, and really hasn't been relevant since about 2015-16 when they had back to 9-4 seasons with Butch Jones, of course, the champion of life, as we all know. So we're going to take a look at their schedule here, not to get this confused with our predictions. We have not predicted any of these games. We are not going to predict any of these games. We're just taking a look at their schedule and how things could shape out for them. The first thing that when you're looking at the schedule for Tennessee that should pop out to you is the marquee matchup on September 12th, Week 2 at Oklahoma. That's a huge matchup. And of course, Tennessee and Oklahoma played each other not too long ago in that home-and-home series. Got blown out when they visited the Sooners and nearly defeated Oklahoma when they visited Neyland Stadium. So they traveled to face off against Lincoln Riley and the Sooners in Week 2, a week with tons of marquee matchups, none bigger than Ohio State and Oregon. One that certainly has major implications, more so I would say for Oklahoma, who will be in college football playoff discussion and contention than Tennessee. Now, many are saying that the Volunteers could go on the road and pull off this upset, or at least hold their own and make it a very competitive game. It's possible, considering this is the first year in a while that Oklahoma's not going to have a transfer quarterback at the helm. More than likely going to be Spencer Rattler. So this is going to be a very, very interesting game in Norman, and really a great test, assuming they can take care of Charlotte, which remember, no game is given anymore after that Georgia State loss last year. But assuming they take care of Will Healy and Charlotte, Oklahoma is going to be a very good test to see where Tennessee is at. Where are they as a football team? After Oklahoma, they come back home, should take care of Furman, and then you've got Florida right here. Now, I look at this Florida game, and this is a potential upset win for the Volunteers. It might sound crazy, considering Florida will be a top 10 team. Many think they could overtake Georgia in the East, maybe a playoff contender for some. But I'm just looking at this and saying if Tennessee is 2-1 playing Florida at Neyland Stadium, it's going to be rocking like it always is. And this Tennessee team is, to me, just that good. They have the talent there. But is it enough to take down Dan Mullen and the Gators? This is that sneaky trap game for Florida in the end of September. Sneaky trap game for the Gators. Coming to Tennessee, big-time rivalry game that has not been very kind to the Volunteers in recent years. Florida better watch out, is all I'm saying. It's a potential upset win for Tennessee, who was not able to hold their own last year. But when they played Florida last year, they were in the midst of that terrible 1-4 start before the switch finally clicked for them, and they were able to get hot down the stretch. If this team lives up to the expectations, they're going to give Florida one heck of a battle at Neyland Stadium. They play Eli Drinkwitz in Missouri, beginning of October. And then I look right here at South Carolina. This back half of the schedule is something that we'll spend a lot of time talking about. But this game against South Carolina here, to me, is a major, major trap game. Tennessee and South Carolina have had some classic matchups over the previous few years. Some unexpected results over the previous few years. And I look at Will Muschamp, a guy that we talked about was kind of on the hot seat, 26-25 during his time in Columbia. Getting a home game against Tennessee, who is not elite in the SEC. I say middle of the pack, maybe slightly below average as of right now. You look at that. This is a winnable game for the Gamecocks. And it's at home, Williams-Brice Stadium. It's a difficult place to play. And let me tell you what, Ryan Helinski, that guy can ball. He's a good quarterback, guys. He's a very solid quarterback. Did a fantastic job stepping in for Jake Bentley when he went down with an injury last year. Just because South Carolina went 4-8 doesn't mean they are going to again this year. The talent is there to at least get to the postseason. And I'm looking at Tennessee here. If they are riding high, if they are, what would that be, 4-1, assuming they do beat Florida, they come into South Carolina week before they get a bye week. Gamecocks could catch them off guard. So a trap game in Columbia on October 10th. They've had classic matchups in the past. Will Muschamp isn't going to let them off that easy. So that's kind of the trap game I view on this schedule for Tennessee. When they come off this bye week, they've got 6 games left. And let me tell you, this stretch from Alabama to Georgia, after the bye week, Tennessee alternates home games and away games. Home, away, home, away, home, away. 3 homes, 3 away games. The stretch from October 24th to November 14th, Alabama, Arkansas, Kentucky, and Georgia. That is the biggest stretch of the season for Tennessee in 2020. I would tell you why. You look at Alabama, many people are going to immediately write that off, saying Tennessee can't win. The Volunteers have lost 13 straight to Alabama, have not defeated them since 2006. But I will say that if Tennessee is, 6-1 at this point, 5-1 at this point, coming off a bye week, playing Alabama, the only loss to Oklahoma, College game day will more than likely be in Knoxville for the 3rd Saturday in October, where some could be picking Tennessee as a trendy upset pick over the Crimson Tide. Expectations will be very high in this game if Tennessee matches those expectations in the first half of the season. They play Alabama. Let's assume they lose. We're not predicting. Let's just assume they do. There is such a thing as a Bama hangover. We know that. We've seen that. They go on the road to play Arkansas, who is absolutely at the cellar of the SEC. But do bring in a decent amount of talent in 2020. A new head coach in Sam Pittman. Felipe Franks, the former Florida quarterback, now taking over at Arkansas, paired with Rakeem Boyd and a great crew of wide receivers. Barry Odom, now the defensive coordinator, maybe could improve the Razorbacks there. Arkansas catches Tennessee off of a Bama hangover. Say Tennessee loses that game. On the road, I should add, on Halloween. They then play against Kentucky, a team that many think could win 10 games this year. The last time Kentucky visited Neyland Stadium, they lost 24-7 to Tennessee. That was a big-time upset. But Terry Wilson is back. Mark Stoops has his Wildcats rolling. Another trap game at home. You've got a trap game on the road here against South Carolina. A trap game I view at home against Kentucky, a team that will be very, very good in 2020. And then on the road against Georgia, of course, now led by Jamie Newman, who will still be a college football playoff contender and will once again be fighting for that top spot in the East over Florida, or against Florida, I should say. Georgia still owns that edge right now. So you're playing arguably 2 of the top teams in the SEC right here in Alabama and Georgia. You have the potential chance of the Bama hangover at Arkansas, a team that should improve this year under Sam Pittman. And then that home game against Kentucky, that's going to be a very, very good football team this year. This 4-game stretch will define Tennessee's season in 2020. If they have a fast start here, don't worry, they're going to get bowling. But where do you draw the line? Are you just happy for 6-6 or 7-5? Or if they have a quick 4-2, 5-1 start in the first half of the season, are you looking for an 8-win, 9-win season by the end of it all? That's the million-dollar question here. So from October 24th to November 14th, that will be the defining stretch of Tennessee's 2020 season. They get Troy on November 21st, and then on the road against Vanderbilt, a team that has certainly given them issues in the past, has not really backed down from that challenge, but a team that once again is struggling mightily under Derek Mason. If you look here, the Football Power Index, not the Gridiron Expert, the Football Power Index predicts Tennessee to go 7-5 this season. That would be the exact same record they had last year before they won their bowl game over Indiana. Some may view that as disappointment, but it certainly would be better than starting 1-4 than having to win 6 straight just to get into the postseason. 7-5 would be respectable. You win your bowl game, you're 8-5. Jeremy Pruitt continues to recruit the way he does, and the future is looking very, very bright for Tennessee. Back-to-back 7-win seasons, back-to-back potential 8-win seasons is nothing to frown about, especially considering the state of Tennessee football before Pruitt arrived. Things could be trending up for Tennessee very, very soon. They have the talent to do it well this year. 7-5 by the FPI, but once again, I can't stress enough, that 4-game stretch will be very telling to see what type of team this is. So guys, thank you so much for watching us here. Our first ever schedule preview here at the Gridiron Expert. We've got 24 more to go, so stay tuned for the remaining teams and go back and look at our way too early top 25 so you know which teams are coming your way. We're going to put that here at the end of this video so you can go back and watch it and access it easily. So do not miss out on that. And as always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe. Check out everything down in the description below so you don't miss any extra college football coverage and content from us here at the Gridiron Expert. And once again, as always, thank you for watching, and we will see you next time right here at the Gridiron Expert.